chill computer guy. Welcome to Bitwig Studio 3. This is a beta, and today we're going to talk about shapers. What we got here, there's 5 different shapers. So if you go to the category called shapers, you can see there's 5 different shapers. I don't know how to pronounce this one. It's Chebyshev. Check that out. It has something to do with prime numbers. There's distortion, quantizer, rectifier, and wave folder. So what we're going to do is, you can see we have this sine wave. Look at that sine wave going on. And then we have that routed into this first channel of the oscilloscope. And then what we're going to do is we're going to branch that signal off into a shaper and then run that into the oscilloscope. And that is going to have a blue line instead of a red line. Thus, that will be the wet shape. And then we have the dry shape. Now, what I want you to do is think about these not as using, like, I'm going to use a sine wave. That way you can kind of see what it's doing to a pure wave, if you will. But normally these shapers are going to be used in the, I guess, effects grid. In other words, you already build maybe a sound, but you want to affect that sound. These shapers are going to be very useful for that. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the wave folder here. Just go ahead and drag this up. And again, we're going to put this sine wave into the wave folder, and then we're going to put the output into the oscilloscope. And as you can see, well, it's the exact same as the sine wave. This is the wet shape and the dry shape. That's because we're at 0. Now, as we increase this, you're going to hear, and you're also going to see, I should say you're going to see, because what we're going to do is you're probably hearing a little bit of a rumble. You might want to have headphones or some bass speakers, some bass frequencies for this particular video. As we turn this up, you can see that it's folding that wave in there. Look at that. That's crazy. And why we're doing this below the frequency, below the audible range, is just so you can kind of visually see what's going on. What we're going to do is we're going to take this up a few octaves, and you're going to be able to hear this. But it's very interesting what's going on. We're taking that wave and we're basically folding it. We're kind of folding it, very slowly. Look at that. And then you can go, you can go crazy. Really fold the heck out of that thing. And then, yeah. And you can see the spectrum just going completely nuts. Now, for some reason, the spectrum, even though it's 2 channels as well, is not giving me the difference. It's only giving me and so that's something that I wish they would do. Like the the oscilloscope, you can see the both channels have a different color, whereas the spectrum analyzer, there's no way to get the blue into that. I mean, I could go straight from the wave shaper, but if I'm exporting the second channel, I should be in. Never mind. I'm babbling. Let's go up a couple. So that's the wave shaper. Okay, let's go ahead and put that back. Next up is the rectifier. Now, the rectifier has positive and negative to it. So the negative is below the center line, the positive is above the center line, and you can basically add positive or negative above or below the line. So the positive has to do with above the line. There's without the rectifier, and then here's with it. So you get a nice kind of you kind of get a nice little extra kind of bass sound there with that rectifier. The quantizer is just like it says. It basically is going to quantize the signal. So you can see at 0, doesn't do much. If we slow this down a little bit, as we increase this, basically what it's doing is it's quantizing the smooth wave. It's basically adding digital noise to the smooth analog signal, if you will. Which is kind of the bit crusher effect. So what it's basically doing is it's creating a, you know, digital. It's stepping, you know, as opposed to a nice smooth curve, you know. So that's the quantizer. And I think where a lot of these shapers kind of shine is when you combine them with the original signal. It's just kind of a... And then here's distortion. Everybody knows about distortion, but what is distortion? I like it right there. Distortion is basically going to take your sine wave and turn it into a square wave. It's basically, again, it's taking all the smooth edges off and making them pointy and rough. So as we increase this, you'll see it basically creates a square wave. Distortion. And then next up is this Chebyshev. Not really sure how to pronounce that. Anyway, I looked this up on Google, and there's some theory that this involves. But basically, what this is going to do is it's going to find harmonics. So it's going to take the wave and it's going to find just kind of a stabby harmonic basing on where you set it. So it's kind of similar to the wave folder, but this kind of stabs at a specific harmonic as opposed to folding the entire wave, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have the best description for the shapers, but know that there's 5 of them. Know that they're very useful. You know, and again, I would use these more in the FX grid than I would, I guess you can use them in creating instruments as well. And if anybody knows the difference between the instrument or the poly grid and the effects grid? Leave it in the comment below. I guess maybe the poly grid, you can have more than one voice. Speaking of that, if you ever go here and you create more than one voice and this thing just seizes up on you, it's because you need an envelope. Okay, if you do not have an envelope in here and you increase this over one voice, the whole program is going to seize up. So if that happens, you'll get this popping. All you got to do is add an envelope, an ADSR, for example. Just add it anywhere. And then, hey, look, it's fixed. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have fun time, and we're just going to mess around a little bit. And then we're going to get off the air here because I don't have all the time in the world to work on this. But all right, everybody shake your ass. All right, who's doing it? Bitwig's doing it. Bitwig is it. Check it out, Bitwig 3. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up, comment below. If you have a license, check out the beta, Bitwig 3. This grid is pretty neat. I've been using it more as an effects grid. Like I'll go into a track I've already created, maybe using VST instruments or something, and use the effects grid and actually start to use some of these shapers and the oscilloscope to kind of see what's going on with my signal. And eventually, I think there's so many of these categories here, and they have put a search field up here also, which is great if you know what the name is you're looking for. But eventually, I'm probably going to go through some of these categories and kind of display what some of these things do. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, comment below, let me know what you want to see. We're going to have more videos on the grid, and we're also going to have videos on creating a bass line. I did like a video on like creating a drum track like a week ago, and it just, I don't know, drum MIDI. It's not that great of a video, but I'm going to do a bass. One that shows you how to create some bass, a bass track, bass licks, So, there's going to be stuff that is fundamental, stuff that's real basic, stuff that's complex. And that's why I say it's not beginners or experts, it's everybody, just a little bit of everything. I don't really get in here and record as much as I should, but I'll just get like in the mood to record. I'll turn the recorder on, the OBS and the Sennheiser headset here. I mean, I'd rather produce music out of my monitors rather than this uncomfortable headset. It's a Sennheiser, it's a pretty nice headset, but I can't really mix or work on a track seriously with the headset on. But that's how it works with OBS. And I know there's other ways to hook it all up, but I don't want to mess with it. I'm a minimalist as far as, it's just going to be a huge setup to do the OBS broadcasting and put YouTube videos. I don't want to mess with it. I got to be able to throw it on, do it, and cut it up in Premiere Pro and publish it and put a little thumbnail on there and whatnot. Anyway, chill computer guy, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys again. Bye-bye now.